Welcome to 31 Nights, 31 Frights. We are really closing in on the end game here as we progress through this week. Each day brings us closer to our... Ah! What the hell, man? I'm trying to do an intro here. Jeez. Anyway, as I was saying, I can't believe you did that to me again. God, knock it off, dude. Seriously. Tonight, obviously, we're taking a look at Sinister 2, the sequel to 2012's Sinister. As always, let's start with the lowdown. So this one was released on August 21st, 2015, rated R, of course, and it runs an hour and 37 minutes. The director was Ciaran Foy, and it was written by Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill. The cast features James Ranson as ex-deputy so-and-so, Shannon Sossamon as Courtney, Robert Sloan as Dylan, and D'Artagnan Sloan as Zach.
What is it? Okay, well, I think I'm gonna go finish up work for a little bit. You think you can make dinner with your brother?
The film opens pretty much like the original, with a snuff film of people being murdered. This is revealed to be a nightmare this time, however, and that dream belongs to Dylan Collins. We soon find that Dylan is visited nightly by ghostly children, representatives of Bagul, a weird, ghostly creature with an angular, faceless face who feeds on the souls of children over the course of many years, getting them to do his bidding in the process. We also find Deputy, or rather ex-deputy so-and-so, who befriended Ellison Oswalt from the first film and has become obsessed with stopping Bagul's cycle of death and destruction. His sources lead him to Dylan's house, and he meets Dylan's twin Zach and their mother Courtney. Now inevitably, our pal so-and-so gets involved in the family drama, which includes an abusive husband trying to take his kids back, as well as Dylan's nightmares about the Bagul. But can Deputy so-and-so stop the cycle, or is it inevitable?
Mom!
Yeah, sweetie?
It's a lot more of the same from this film, except that we already know a whole lot about the Bagul from the first movie. We know how he operates, we know who he is, and if we didn't, we've got the deputy, who for some reason is still unnamed, to fill us in, because he's been tracking down Bagul and the Bagul cycles and trying to end them ever since the first film. Since we do know so much about Bagul this time around, a lot of the film's drama and escalation of tension come from Courtney and her kids, Dylan and Zach, and their family drama. She's got an idiot husband who is the stereotypical smug jock type, who is of course an abuser, because why wouldn't he be? He plays the part to a T, and I really did despise this guy, not because he was a particularly good villain, but because he was a painful, painful stereotype. One difference in this film is that we get to experience how Bagul's ghostly minions seduce the living children to do their bidding and eventually commit the murder. The process was alluded to or implied as having happened off-screen in the first movie with Ellison's daughter Ashley. But now we see it from the kids' point of view, and we see it happening to Dylan in particular outright. Now this removes a bit of the mystery from the first film and puts the focus on the ghost kids as the main villain instead of Bagul himself. There's something so matter-of-fact and ordinary about the ghosts in this movie. They don't really feel scary or even really feel much like ghosts at all. So it's time for the verdict. Is it worth the time? You know, I'm honestly very much on the fence about this one. It's not a straight-up rehash of the first film, but it's not really different enough either. It relies on soap opera-style family troubles for a lot of the drama. I give them credit for a different ending than the first film. If you liked Sinister, There's probably a lot for you to enjoy here, but at the same time, there's also a ton of tired horror movie cliches, confusion about Bagul's powers and abilities, and a lot of inconsistencies there. It's probably enough to say pass, unless you really, really loved the first one. I personally give Sinister 2 1 Grimm. That's it for this edition of 31 Nights, 31 Frights. Thanks for listening and watching. I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button and checking out all of the other shows we have to offer here at Grimm's Scary Tales.